The Nuggets in OKC battling for the life of their season as they derail the train off the cliff. What happened in this game? Let's find out. You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. Let's get it. Alright, everyone, gather around. Let's grieve some shit out. How's it going, everyone? And welcome. I'm CS Chandler, here for another take of Nuggets basketball. It's been a brutal season, everyone. It's been an up and down roller coaster of a season. It started off rocky with this team specifically going against the Thunder. If you don't recall, the Thunder gave us our first loss, which was the first game of the season. And here we are, very last game of the season, and it is ended by the Thunder. So, kind of a bookending story to this crazy season. The Nuggets were in Game 7 earlier today. Though I will say the Thunder were also in a Game 7, battling for their life of their season as well. But they flipped a switch. Nuggets aren't able to flip a switch. Thunder flipped a switch, and it was successful as they got the win. The starting lineup today was Jokić, Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Michael Porter Jr., and leading into this match or this game, Aaron Gordon had been diagnosed with a grade 2 hamstring strain that he suffered in Game 6. And he manned up. He went on another level, and he started this game. And he was phenomenal. I'm just going to say that right now. Like, I'll get into more takes later on, but I just need to say this out loud right now, is that Aaron Gordon is phenomenal, and he will forever be one of my favorite players, favorite Nuggets, just because of what he's given to this team. So the Nuggets were wearing their white jerseys, and OKC were wearing their blue jerseys. And the final score was a dominating 125-93, a second blowout loss for the Nuggets in OKC in this series. Not great. So, but, let's dive into this game here, because the first quarter, the Nuggets actually got off to a great start. And let's find out what went wrong where, right? Because the Nuggets actually win the tip. And they win the tip actually on what you could have called a foul on Hartenstein, because he completely strangled Christian Brown, and they let it go. And yet Christian Brown was still able to control the ball afterwards. And then from an assist from Jokić, Christian Brown then with a floater to gets the first points of the game. However, then Chet responds with a layup, and then CB takes it to the rim for an aggressive jam. Just kind of little back and forth. But you could see that Christian Brown really wanted this win today. He was battling with some fire behind him. Michael Porter Jr. gets a layup to give the Nuggets an early 4-point lead and forces OKC to take the first time out of the game. And sometimes that can be an indicator of like, okay, things aren't right for the team, and this game is going to go the same way it's going to be going. But OKC, got to give them credit. They definitely are able to, again, flip that switch. And they kind of did after that timeout. SGA gets a mid immediately after that. But luckily, Christian Brown knocks down a three. And then Jokić gets fouled a couple of times, gets the Nuggets a couple more points, and the lead up to 8. But then Christian Brown gets it to 10 with a bunny hop. Aaron Gordon, from an assist by Jokić, gets a bucket plus the foul. And man, is he tough as nails, man. He, like a hamstring strain, and he got beaten up even more so by OKC. They were not taking it easy on him at all. They were going after him. which is why I said in the previous episodes before that they need to go after Chet and his hip. Like, I know it can be dirty, but the other team is doing it, and they did it to AG tonight. So why not attack Chet, get at him, try to break his hip again so he can't play anymore? Like, you just got to do some things you typically won't do just to get the win. OKC is doing it. And that's this unfortunate thing is they're able to do the dirty work that the Nuggets just morally will not do. So, but, AG, tough as nails, gets the bucket, plus the foul, makes the free throw to complete the 3-point play. OKC gets back-to-back buckets after this to knock the lead down to 7. And then OKC gives Brody space to knock down an uncontested 3, gets the Nuggets lead back up to 10. And then they go on a little run themselves to knock the lead back down. And then finally Murray gets a layup for his first points. I believe it was late in the quarter. He was very quiet tonight. Not going to lie. He was very quiet. After the flu arrow, game that we saw last in Game 6, it kind of showed that the flu actually did show up with him, and it took him out because he was not the same Jamal that we saw in Game 6. But he got his first points here, and Nuggets were still able to win the first quarter 26-21. So it wasn't by 1 point or whatever. We actually did beat them still by 5 points in that first quarter. But then the second quarter is where we lost the game. I would say that. And that's kind of where you typically, like, sometimes you can see if the game is going to be won or lost in the fourth quarter. But then oftentimes it can also be seen as early as the second quarter, because the Nuggets opted for a lineup of Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, Brody, and AG again. OKC starts the quarter off really with knocking down back-to-back buckets for the first points of the quarter. Like, they knock down a bucket, and then they immediately get a turnover from the Nuggets, knock down another bucket, and then CB fouls J-Dub, who makes the bucket, gives OKC their first lead after this. And then Brody commits back-to-back turnovers and is looking really off again. Like, he just had a horrible game against OKC. He did phenomenal for us against the Clippers, but for some reason against OKC, he just didn't have it in him. I don't know if there was some love for OKC that he just, was a little softer than normal and was a little intentional in his turnovers, but he did not have a good series against OKC. So Jokić checks in early after this at the 10:20 mark. AG then sinks a 3 to tie the game. Wiggins responds immediately after that with a 3, and then Jokić through defenders gets the bucket and a foul, makes it, and ties the game again. Dort then immediately after that responds with a 3 to get the OKC up by 3 again, followed by Dort fouling AG, but there was no call, gets Caruso a dunk for a 5-point lead. And that's kind of what happened. OKC was getting allowed aggressive hits on one end, and then you would have Nuggets trying to match that aggressiveness, and when they matched it, they were given fouls. OKC wasn't. And you could almost say because OKC started off with that aggressiveness, whereas Nuggets didn't. And so the Nuggets started to be a little bit more reactionary, and that allowed to create more foul calls, which is not good. And so CB then knocks down a 3, cuts the lead to 2. But then the team once again trades buckets back and forth as Jamal with a mid cuts the lead to 1. And you think, okay, well, maybe, there's like 3 minutes left in the game, that maybe we can at least keep this just with a 1-point game by the half. No. That last 4 to 3 minutes of the second quarter was where the OKC broke us. And they went on another huge run. So with 4 minutes left, you have J-Dub, who knocks down a 3 to give OKC a 6-point lead, and then a turnover and a dunk by J-Dub gets the lead up to 8. Finally, Jokić stops the bleeding, and then SGA gets a 3 to get the lead up to 9. And OKC first to 50. Nuggets just completely fall apart at this minute. Like, the final minutes, they just completely fall apart, and OKC goes on a huge run, and they win. They actually dominate the second quarter, 39-20, a 19-point victory in that second quarter. OKC then goes on top into the half, 60-46. We aren't even at the 50 mark, and they already surpassed the 50 and the 60. Like, this was already unmatched just because of the officiating, I will say. Because there's a lot to say of like, okay, well, the refs didn't lose you the match. That was how the Nuggets played or whatever. But when you're trying to play a certain way and the refs officiating is throwing you off, it's going to affect you. And that's exactly what happened in this game. The ref officiating affected the way the Nuggets played. And I'll give you several examples coming up here. So OKC starts the third quarter with a miss, and Jamal loses the ball, leading to a turnover, and SGA a quick bucket to get the first points of the quarter. And then this is the key example of how grossly biased the officiating was in this entire series, really. So if you remember, J-Dub in Game 6, last game, he elbowed Murray in the face while spinning his arms with the ball. That was deemed a normal basketball play. Then tonight, Aaron Gordon does the exact same fucking thing, and SGA gets elbowed in the face by AG, and it's called a flagrant fucking call. Are you kidding me? How the fuck can J-Dub get called a normal basketball play, but then when Aaron Gordon does it, it's a flagrant? That's because of the freaking biasness against any other team that plays against OKC. Like, this was just gross. Are you freaking kidding me? And so they get the buckets, the free throws plus the ball back. I mean, that's just a huge play right there. That is a huge grand play that just elevates their lead even more, and the style of their play and everything, when you call a flagrant on AG for the exact same fucking thing that J-Dub did. And that was consistent. And I think that's exactly what Jokić has been trying to point out this entire series. I know it, like Nuggets Nation, I know it's been very frustrating seeing him trying to bait fouls and everything, but it's almost more like he's frustrated because he's getting fouled the same way that OKC is doing, but he's not getting the call, and they are. And so he's trying to bring attention to it, and he's doing it a little bit more over the top. But that's what's going on. It's not him being a flopper like SGA's being a flopper or Dort's being a flopper. It's him trying to bring attention to the calling, the officiating. And unfortunately, he did that in this game as well, and it kind of cost them. And he should have given it up when the refs weren't listening to him a couple of games ago. But still, he was, very adamant on trying to get that point across. But that just right there, you can't tell me this was a fair game when that was a bullshit call of all bullshit calls. Like, I agree that if you elbow someone in the face, that's a flagrant. But then you call that on J-Dub as well. Like, that game should have been won even more so than it was, just because J-Dub elbowed Jamal in the face. Like, don't tell me this wasn't a rigged game. Don't tell me that, because that was a bullshit call, and that was 100% NBA officiating, ESPN, Vegas, whatever you want to call it, getting OKC that win. So OKC then gets the lead up to 23, because once now you have a disrupted Nuggets who aren't trying. They're trying to find their footing and their plays and everything, and they just can't do it because they're now frustrated. So finally, MPJ gets a bucket to stop the bleeding and the lead to 21. And then CB gets a dunk to get the Nuggets to 50 finally. Nuggets go on a small little run to cut the lead to 17. And that would be the closest the lead would ever be, because then it just balloons from there. Nuggets keep getting called for ticky-tack fouls that allow OKC to get to the line and into the bonus. And then the lead continues to balloon for OKC as the lead goes to 24. And OKC controls the third 37-26. So you already lost the second quarter by 19. Now you lose the third quarter by 11. Fourth quarter, the Nuggets opt for a lineup of Brody, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Jokić, and Christian Brown, which I really don't understand why they let Brody play more minutes than he should have played tonight, because he just wasn't on. Like if I was Adelman, like he did that in the game 6. He saw Brody was not on, and so he took him off the court, and it helped. This time around, he kept him on, and I don't understand why. Like, you should have played P-Watt a little bit more, or even get some Vlatko minutes in there, man. Like, Dario Saric hasn't been doing shit. I mean, I know he's not great, but, maybe he can give you a little bit of something, because he's been very, very well rested, So the Thunder start the quarter off with a challenge on an out-of-bounds call, and it's deemed successful. And then SGA baits a foul from CB plus the bucket to get OKC first to 100. SGA also gets the lead to 30. And then Jokić turns the ball over, trying to bait a foul, and gives OKC an easy bucket and the lead to 32. And this is kind of where I started to just not take notes anymore, because it was like pointless. Like, okay, yeah, this game is already settled. It was already settled towards the end of the third quarter. But as soon as they go to 30 and it's the last quarter, you already know that the game's done. There should really be a waving the white flag in these games when the lead is so much and you're in the last minutes of the game. Like, just call it. We don't need to play anymore. There's no way that they're going to come back. Like, yeah, you can maybe win a game if you're down by 20 in the final quarter, but not 30. Not anything more than 30. You're looking for a miracle, and there's no miracle that has ever given a team a win down by 30 in the last minutes of the game. So Nuggets wave the white flag at the 9:31 mark. So they only played 2.5 minutes before Adelman just waves the flag. He saw the guys had no fight left in them. They ran the gas tank empty, and so they checked in all of their reserves. Then you have a G League team facing the starters still of OKC, and that was just brutal. I did not want to see that. I don't know anyone who would actually thrive on watching those minutes, because that was just horrendous. OKC wins the fourth, I believe, by a lot. 28-21. So I guess not by too much, but still, I mean, we're splitting hairs here. Then OKC wins and advances again. Final score 125-93. So stats here. Don't really know if we care about stats at this point, but it's the last game of the season, so why not? Let's just do it. So Michael Porter Jr. played 23 minutes tonight and made 6 points. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He was 3 for 8 from field, 0 for 4 from 3, 0 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. He was a -8. Sure hope that he takes this offseason to get himself right, get his shoulder right, get his shooting right, work on his defense, do everything he needs to. But and we'll talk about some future stuff later on or whatever. But I just hope that he gets himself right, for one thing. Aaron Gordon, Mr. Nugget, played 24 minutes tonight, made 8 points, 11 rebounds. Like, he saw he wasn't going to be effective in many of the fast breaks and the running and the pushing up against anyone. So he found other ways to make an impact. That was rebounding, and that's why he has the most amount of rebounds out of the entire roster with 11. He shot 2 for 4 from field, so he still made points. 1 for 3 from 3. He made 3 free throws, all that he had, so 100% there. 4 turnovers, 1 personal foul, and was a -9. So hopefully now he gets some rest, because that grade 2 hamstring, they said that he was going to be out for a month. And obviously you can't do that. So it's the last game of the season. So got to play it. And now he should have some time to heal up and get better. And, hats off to him. But, Mr. Nugget there. Jokić, the true MVP, he played 36 minutes. And he only had 20 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. A close triple-double, but not close enough. Kind of a quiet game. Kind of wish he would have balled out a little bit more. 5 for 9 from field, 1 for 2 from 3, 9 for 11 from free throws. He had 5 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. He was a -23. Christian Brown played 32 minutes. Jokić played the most amount of minutes real quick with the 36 there. And then it was Jamal Murray with 34, but Christian Brown played 32 and made 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. He was 7 for 14 from field, 2 for 9 from 3, 3 for 4 from free throws. He had 2 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. He was a -28. Jamal Murray, like I said, 34 minutes, 13 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Like, from your second best player, you need more than 13 points if you're going to actually have a hope of winning this game and advancing on it. 13 points is just not enough. That's just unacceptable for Jamal Murray. I'm sorry. I love Jamal. I actually even wore my Jamal jersey while watching the game, and then I realized maybe I should just, 86 it. So he shot 6 for 16 from field, 1 for 8 from 3. He had 2 turnovers, 1 personal foul, was a -21. And then the bench, we're not going to get into the bench because it was just horrendous. But overall stats, 47 rebounds to their 44. So we out-rebounded them. Holmgren and Gordon both tied with 11 rebounds. So that's the most amount of rebounds on each team. So the fact that we out-rebounded them, we just weren't able to complete the bucket, the points off of those rebounds. And we had 20 assists to their 28, 6 steals to their 16 steals. 16. That's how gruesome the ending 4 minutes of quarter 2 and all of quarter 3 were, with the constant stealing and disrupting that they had, and no one calling fouls for the Nuggets, but then calling fouls on the Nuggets when they were trying to do the same thing. So we had 2 blocks, they had 3. We shot 39% from field, they shot 49%. We shot 22% from 3, they shot 30%. Which they actually started off really horrible. They were a horrible 3-point shooting team in the first quarter, and we were great. And then as soon as they flipped that switch, the entire script flipped. So we shot 77% from free throws. They shot 79. We had 22 turnovers. They had 9. We had 19 personal fouls. They had 19. So. Yeah, man, this is just unfortunate turn of events. So, the big takeaway for me, is that one, I'm feeling very, very resentful against the OKC right now. I hate their fans. I hate their roster, their cheesy roster with everyone doing one interview and all that. The free throw merchant SGA, the flopper Dort, the bag of bones, Chet Holmgren, and the aggressive Hartenstein and Alex Caruso, who I used to both love, both of them when they were on the previous teams, and now I hate them both. And then, but I will say, gotta give them credit. They still played a very difficult matchup, and as much as that hurts to say, they ended up being the better team, even if they had everything in their favor, according even down to officiating. But that sometimes happens, and so give the Nuggets credit though, right? Anyone who was against the Nuggets, you have to give us credit. You have to. You just have to. You saw the Nuggets, a 4 seed, take one of the best constructed rosters in the history of basketball with the best record to a 7-game series. Everyone thought that they were going to sweep the Nuggets, and we brought them to a 7-game series. We almost closed you all out. We almost kicked you out in the second round exit again. And so, yeah, you guys were at home. You had a little more advantage with the home crowd, with the officiating and everything, but give the Nuggets credit. We battled, we fought, because that's who the Nuggets are. We have the heart. And speaking of heart, in round 1, David Adelman said that Aaron Gordon is the spirit of the Nuggets. And that is the biggest note that needs to be focused on, especially right now. He was, again, diagnosed with a grade 2 hamstring strain, and yet he went onto the court and played his heart out. He has the heart of a champion in the purest definition of that term. He was the Nuggets' leading rebounder and the 3rd best overall player of the Nuggets tonight. At the start of the season, he took less money to help the Nuggets out. He is the Nugget we need to talk about more than anything else. And we don't, because we are always focused on Jokić and Murray and MPJ. Is he playing good or bad? And then this season specifically, there was a huge distraction of Brody. Was he being good or bad? And he's a vampire and he's destroying rosters and all that shit. So there was a huge distraction when the whole focus should have been on Aaron Gordon. And we need to give Aaron Gordon his flowers more often, because he is, as David Adelman said, the spirit of the Nuggets. He is Mr. Nugget. You need to look back at his entire story for the last year. Almost a year ago now, he lost his brother. Like, if you've never lost a sibling, if you've never lost a family member, you don't know how difficult that is. And then to have to battle through that, and then he starts off the season really, really well. And then he gets a hamstring strain, and he's out for 11 games, right? And when you're a competitor, to be out even 1 game is torture. To be out 11, and then he comes back, he's a little bit rocky, and then he goes back out, right? Because the hamstring or the calf is just not right. And then he gets a little bit more rest, and he comes back, and he actually gets really, really good minutes. He has one of the best games at Golden State, when he went for 30 plus. He gave us some of the best playoff moments in Nuggets history with the putback dunk, at the buzzer to seal the Game 4 win in LA against the Clippers. And he gave us the buzzer beater 3 against OKC in Game 1. He is one of the best players of this team, and will forever be one of my favorite players and one of my favorite Nuggets. Now, what's next? Because the Nuggets are out. Nuggets, that's it for this season for the Nuggets. There's going to be a lot to talk about for their off season. They got to find a coach. I don't know if Adelman's going to be the coach. I mean, he definitely stepped up big time in interim zone. But at the same time, like, if you were to get a championship winning coach onto the Nuggets, you can't afford it. You can't afford it. Like, it's kind of more or less the pathway right now is Adelman will be the head coach. He's already coached the team. He's already been with the team long enough. I just see the Nuggets not going with someone else. I think that this is their guy. He got them deep enough into the season, that when everyone thought, oh, well, their season's done with because they just fired their coach. And then here we are battling the top seed in a game 7. So, Adelman, I think, is going to be the head coach. The question now is who's going to be the general manager. And it really needs to be a general manager who is willing to work with the head coach and who is willing to make roster structure calls when it needs to be made. Calvin Booth didn't do shit during the trade deadline, and it kind of hurt us a lot, to be honest. He made horrible calls during the last offseason. I mean, I wouldn't say getting Dario Saric was a horrible call, but it wasn't a great call. Like, that was obviously that didn't even work. He played maybe 10 games, and then he was on the bench the entire season. He was just a glorified Nugget, not really playing, And so I don't see him coming back. I think Dario Saric is out. I think Dario Saric on the bench wise, I think the ones that are not safe right now is probably Peyton Watson and Julian Strawther, unfortunately. Maybe Zeke Nnaji, but I think that we're kind of stuck with him. And then you have our main starters, who I think out of the starters, the ones that are biggest zone of danger is MPJ, unfortunately, and Jamal Murray, and maybe even Christian Brown. I don't think they get rid of Jokić, because how could you? You get rid of the best player in the world. You're not going to do that. And Aaron Gordon just showed you how much of a dog he is and how much of a champion he brings to this team. So I don't think they're going to get rid of Aaron Gordon. Those are the two players that I think are safe. But everyone else, I mean, it's all up for grabs at this point. It's all in the wind right now. We don't even know. So with them out, if you've been watching my episodes this whole season, and if you have, thank you for following me and supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I've feel like I've vocalized enough that my second favorite team right now is the New York Knicks. And they showed out. They destroyed the Celtics. And now they're going to the first time in 26 years to the Eastern Conference Finals. So congratulations, Knicks. Brunson, man, if you're not watching the Knicks, you got to watch the Knicks. Just watch a game or something, just one game, and see how amazing Brunson is. Brunson is the reason why I started to fall back in love with the Knicks. I liked the Knicks, back in the day when Patrick Ewing was on there and everything, but then I fell away, and I just didn't. It was like, okay, whatever, the Knicks, fine. But one reason that I really, really love the Knicks is that when you look at the teams that are the most profitable teams in the NBA, number one is the Golden State Warriors. Then below them, tied for second, is Lakers and Knicks. They're tied for second. Then you got the Celtics and I believe the Nets and the Clippers, but it's right there at the second is the Knicks and the Lakers. And out of all of those teams, you got the Nets, the Clippers, and everything. All of those teams still get respect more than the Knicks do. And that's kind of why I dig the Knicks, is that they are the only big market team that gets the amount of hate from the media as like the Nuggets do. And so I appreciate the Knicks and how they're able to keep hope alive, keep, battling for it. And I hope that this is your guys' year. If you're a Knicks fan and you're watching, I hope this is your year. I'm going to be hoping that the Knicks win, because I do like them, and I hope that it's been a long time, so they deserve one too. They need a chip. And that's the only reason that I'll probably be watching any games now, is just to see if the Knicks win. and they definitely have their work cut out for them. The Pacers isn't going to be an easy team to beat. Halliburton is phenomenal, so we'll see about that. And it's definitely a rematch of last season's game or round 2. So hopefully, I would say either one of those teams, I'll be happy with winning the chip. Definitely more so with the Knicks, but if the Pacers win, okay, whatever. I just don't want OKC or the Timberwolves to win. Like, screw you guys. Screw both those teams. I hope you guys beat the hell out of each other. I hope it goes to a game 7 as well, and SGA pulls his Achilles tendon, and Ant-Man ruins his kneecaps. Like, whatever it takes just to ruin your all team. I hope that happens, because I hate both of your teams. So then what's going on now moving forward with this thing? So because there's no other games, Nugget games at least, now I'll just be focusing more maybe on some movies, and then also just kind of a little highlighting of what off-season moves are happening with the Nuggets. It may not be as common. I mean, this has been a gauntlet of episodes lately with all these playoff games. So it is kind of nice to take a little bit of break from doing this stuff, but probably won't take too much of a break because I know the algorithm wants you to continue to post and everything. So we'll see how this goes. But we'll look more for, if you like movies and everything. I'll talk more about movies. Lots of stuff going on with that industry right now anyways. And that's my industry. So we'll probably talk about that more. And we'll just go from there. Hopefully the Nuggets have a better future, and hopefully next year is their year. Hey, at least we got one chip. OKC doesn't have any, so we'll start there. That's pretty much all I got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. Share it to your friends and family. And you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. We'll catch you later.